Hey there, entrepreneurs. My name is Sushant, and welcome to Trep Talks. This is the show where I interview successful e-commerce entrepreneurs, business executives, and thought leaders, and ask them questions about their business story, and also dive deep into some of the strategies and tactics that they have used to start and grow their businesses. And today, I'm really excited to welcome Matthieu Fortin to the show. Matthieu is the CEO of Upper Limits. Upper Limits is a hybrid brick and mortar e-commerce retailer and B2B wholesaler for dispensary, smoke shop products, and custom glass pipes. And today I'm going to ask Matthieu a few questions about his entrepreneurial journey and some of the strategies and tactics that he has used to start and grow his business. So Matthieu, thank you so much for joining me today at Trep Talk. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Oops, sorry, I'm gonna kick this off real quick.
It's okay.
So
interesting business. So to me, it seems like it's very focused around the cannabis industry. Can you share a little bit about when you got started, how you got the idea, and why specifically this product or this category?
Sure. Well, honestly, it kind of fell into. We kind of fell into it. I think timing has a lot to do with everything, with the whole story. It was just, the timing was right. I'll kind of, start. It was me and a couple friends were. I think we were barbecuing, and one of my friends has been always talking about opening up a shop, and he always wanted to open up this, the shop. I think it was like Gemstones and rocks and things like that. And me and my other buddy would joke that, hey man, if you don't open up the shop, you've been talking about it for a few years now. If you're not going to do it, we're going to do it. And so we actually did, and we acquired the space. Some investment, and right as we were getting ready to acquire all the products and open up, he had to step away, and so I was at the time going to school and working a full-time job, and so I had a choice. It was a scary choice. Do I want to kind of walk away from this, or do I want to continue to, do I want to see if what happens? And I'm a risk taker, so so I went ahead and I just went all in on it, and so that was about 2013.
2000. So the friend who had the original idea, he walked away, and you were stuck with the idea. I guess you were more committed to it, and like, did you have the other friend also who were joining with you, or?
Nope. He I think he opened up his own shop.
Okay.
He finally ended up opening it up. So that was great. And it was tough. It was tough because I wasn't really planning to start this business. I helped. We both picked out the name and everything. And I was kind of disappointed that he wasn't going to be joining me, in this venture. But
so you said that his idea was around like this gemstones and stuff, but your shop is cannabis. How did you come to this? And was that like still a legal, cannabis was legal in your part of the country, or?
It wasn't legal yet, and it's been a weird journey with that. It wasn't too long ago that we had to watch what terminology we used for our glass pipes. We couldn't, there were certain like slang that we could not, that customers couldn't use. And it was very, and I don't know, there was a, what happened to Tommy Chong, the Operation Pipe Dreams. And, it was kind of a very unsure time, am I doing it? What are we doing? But, it really started picking up when we started working with medical cannabis patients. And it just really, I knew that this is, I kind of fell in love with the industry. So.
Okay. And in terms of your products themselves, I see on your website, you have different categories. So you have a CBD category, e-cigs, e-liquids, vaporizers, glass pipes, grow and harvest, accessories, and so forth. So you're not, seems like you're not actually selling cannabis or cannabis related product. You're selling mostly the accessories around that. Is that what your business is?
That's correct. Yeah, we don't touch the cannabis plant or anything like that. But we do sell hemp, hemp drives products. And those go very, very well. Our customers, we have a huge customer base for those. They're great products. It's just a very fluid time, even with CBD products. And, there's a lot of services we can't use, marketing channels that are traditionally available to most businesses, very important channels. And so just having to navigate all that has been a challenge. It keeps me on my toes.
Yeah. I mean, I've interviewed a couple of one CBD, one more cannabis accessories kind of a business, and I've definitely heard some of those challenges, and would love to hear from your experience as well. I guess what I'm interested to know is, were you like, why specifically this industry? Like, were you interested in this yourself? Like, were you a user of cannabis, or what motivated you to actually get into this specific?
Sure. I was a user of cannabis back then. I'm not now. I'm too busy to partake. But back then, I think we were really trying to find our, what category we really fell in, and we really hit e-cigs at the right time. I was a smoker of 15 years, and I've tried to quit so many different times, and e-cigs, it worked, and it got me to quit smoking. And that just really changed my life. I was like, man, other people need to know about this technology. I got my friends to quit smoking, and so many people. And I mean, I'd hear, I'd have customers coming in that were like, it's this a 50-year-old guy, a 55-year-old guy, and he's tried everything. His wife's like, he's like, I'm just going to buy this to, so my wife will, be quiet. And he ended up quitting. It was like he was smoking like 3 packs a day. I mean, his doctors were like, you got to quit, man. And it worked for him. And like that just really changed me, because there's 500,000 Americans every year die just in this country. Not let imagine the world. I mean, it really is an opportunity, for public health, to be able to, finally get rid of tobacco. And so that's been kind of my champion cause. But unfortunately, as I'm sure you are aware, the e-cig industry has really got a bad rap, and there's a lot of regulations that have taken place. Hence why we have diversified and continue to diversify with cannabis accessories, even dabbling in the grow, and some of our custom pipe services.
So when you got started as a new business person, I think you said you first started with a retail store, and then you got into e-commerce. Can you share a little bit about what motivated you to start your e-commerce business, and how did that happen?
Yeah. Well, we were a retail business for definitely a few years before we had a website. Back then I've always been a believer in e-commerce. It's the future. So I've always been very, very interested in it. I don't have the technical background. I mean, I played around with some web, some HTML, I think in high school and a little bit in college, but I always believed in that. That's where everything is going to go. And if we don't adapt to that, we're going to be left behind. So that's just always been really, really important. And so we started we were on WooCommerce originally, and then we made the leap to Magento, and that's been a journey. Magento's tough. We are not a large company. So having to figure out Magento has been, it's been a lot, but it's a very, very powerful platform. I wouldn't be anywhere else. And on top of that, having somebody, that could seal our fate, being on like Shopify, I just can't, it's very risky right now with the industry. And, so that's why we're on Magento.
I guess that's probably the big challenge with, like, what is it called? the hosted platforms like Shopify and BigCommerce, etc., because I think they're not very cannabis industry friendly. I think they
Not
don't
even
allow you to use their payment processor and so forth. And, I think that's definitely a risk.
that's correct. And there's it's just, even CBD. Our payroll has been shut down by QuickBooks because we sell CBD products. And I mean, that was before it was even online. It was just in store. I've been shut down from so many marketing platforms. Even like the pay later services. I get told no a lot, but
So
that's okay. And these things will take time, and they will change.
So what is it about this? Because I mean, you're selling most of your products are like accessories, right? You're not. I mean, you are selling like e-liquids and so forth. Like, what is it about? I mean, it is legal, right? It's not illegal. So what is the big challenge that that mainstream businesses have with this industry?
I think it's cannabis still is federally illegal, and until that changes, the banks it's too risky for the banks, and I understand that. You can't risk all of your shareholders and all of your customers, funds if the Fed at a whim decides to change, decides to go after it after, you have administrations that change, and it's, I'm kind of shocked that it hasn't already. Nothing's happened federally, but it's inevitable. But I think that's
inevitable that it'll change in a positive way, or
I think it'll change in a positive way. I do. I think once it's federally, there's a federal standard. I think it will be better because I'm stuck here. We're stuck in Illinois, and this state is very, very. It's hard to get cannabis licenses, it's tough. It's not like a mature market like Nevada, which has a great market. The state just still has a long ways to go with its cannabis industries and the programs that they have.
Okay. So when you started, you said that you initially had planned to start with a friend, but then he left to start his own thing, and then you were left with the whole risk with yourself. Can you share a little bit what kind of investment went into starting this business? Like, to me, it seems like most of these products are really you're really buying it from manufacturers or and selling it. So you're kind of like just a retailer rather than, so you're not really creating any of these items yourself.
We are the items that we create we had a vaporizer line for a while, and we've kind of we're trying to kind of minimize, we're doing too much with a small team, and so we've had to really kind of decide what we want to focus on and what's our strong suits. But we had a vaporizer line that was pretty good. We do our custom glass pipes. We actually have a glass production facility, and that's great because it gives us kind of we can do a lot of creative things there. We also do we call them promo pipes for dispensaries, where we etch logos into the glass pipes. And that's been very, very successful. So that we would do manufacturing, if you consider that manufacturing, it is, I guess. So we do the glass pipes, and we've done things like hummingbird feeders too, and some interesting medical devices that people couldn't find replacements for. So it's interesting. We enjoy it.
So your business has evolved over time. So some of it is you create yourself, some of it is like you purchase it from other places, and you're
Sure.
kind of retailer for that.
Right. Well, most places, most products we purchase from other vendors or distributors or glass artists as well. We work with a lot of glass artists, and that's I would say a majority of the stuff comes from that. We do wholesale. We have our own glass line, and so we do some wholesaling and some other products as well. That's one of the areas we're wanting to grow. So it's kind of on the plate right now. It's kind of growing our business to business, and even drop shipping and things like that, marketplace type stuff.
So in terms of risk, when you had started this item, and I'm assuming you put some of your own money or investment into it, at what point did you know that this is going to be something successful? Like when you started your retail store, there were people who started coming and purchasing items, and you knew that this is a business that can run profitably.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that can change at any time. So I don't feel that we are in the clear yet to have that, oh, we've made it. I mean, it's always, my team here works really, really, really hard. They're a great team. It's taken me a long time to build the team that we have today. I'd be a lot farther if I had this team back then, but there's things that I needed to learn as well that I'm still learning. So it's been we're still on our way. we haven't got there yet, but I don't know if I answered your question about the initial investment. Did I? I don't think I did.
Yeah, I mean, it's about the risk, right? So you took a risk as a starting a business, and at what point? I mean, you're saying that it's always nothing is confirmed, which is true. No, no business is always at the top of the game. But at a certain point, you knew that this is kind of like I want to stick with this business or this project.
Right. Yeah, I love the industry. My employees, they love the industry. I mean, we're really, really passionate about what we do. And I mean, that's everybody's goal, right? Is to be passionate about what they do. And so that's why we're where we are.
In terms of your e-commerce business versus your retail, is one a bigger driver of the business versus the other? Like is e-commerce helping you reach a bigger audience versus your retail store is more? Can you share a little bit about which one is doing better? And are you selling on other channels like Amazon, other places? I'm sure.
Yeah, that's a great question. We do more business in our retail. We've really just started focusing on our e-commerce not that long ago. I mean, we have had the Magento site, but we have somewhat recently, like within the past year and a half, really been like, okay, we're going to do this. I've learned so much about SEO and SERP, and I actually enjoy it. I was scared of it for so long. So I mean, I guess if anybody's listening and they're a little intimidated by SEO, there's some really great ways. There's so much information out there. Don't be intimidated by it. It's not rocket science. It's fun. I feel, but we've dabbled on Amazon a little bit, but again, we have to watch what products we're able to or what products we're uploading there. I think they're okay with glass pipes now, or maybe it's eBay. I'll have to chat. I'm not quite sure, but
Okay.
And that's something that we do. We do have the eye on that. We really want to get back to maybe putting some of the things that are okay, that are within their terms. Things like rolling trays and some of the stuff that's totally fine for Amazon. It's just kind of one of those things where our team's doing, so everybody's doing like 4 or 5 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So
is there a good profit margin in this kind of a product? Like some of this product, is it easier to buy it? And I don't know where you purchase it from. Is it easier to buy it from China or something Because I would assume like little glass based items would be probably much cheaper to buy in China and then sell here. Can you share a little bit about, your business model and,
Sure.
is it a good business to be in?
Sure. Yeah, I think it is. I think that as cannabis comes online in more states, that's just more. There's going to be so many more people that are in need of our products and our services. So I think that we haven't even seen it peak yet, and I just think it's going to continue to grow. And I've seen the traffic for the keywords that that some of the keywords we use, and I mean it's there's a lot of opportunity out there, but some of the products we don't do as much import as we used to. A lot of times you can honestly get it, we can work deals out in the States for that, and it's just a lot less, you can get it faster and for around the same price. And I have John in my purchasing department he's just a guru at that. So he's he rocks it. And so he's really, really good with that. There are still some glass items that we do. Like we just did, we have a cheaper option in for our glass etching for our glass bats. And it's like dollar bats. And those actually are from India. And then, we've bought some tubing from China before, but we usually stick with the German tube.
Cool. What have you learned about your customers? Who are the people who actually buy from you? And I'm assuming there's probably a component like, do these products require repurchase? Like, once you have a customer, are they likely to buy an item in a different category, or so? Is there an opportunity for like resale, recurring sales to the same customer in this industry? And what do you think about the people who use these kind of products? Like, what is the need that they're trying to satisfy? Is it why would, I mean, I don't smoke this, but why would a person want to use a vaporizer, or this? Is it more like is it kind of like scratching a niche? Like, are they anxious, or is it kind of like fashion?
No,
what is it?
I would say like 95% of the time they're looking for a healthier alternative to combustion.
Okay.
That's why people use vaporizers, because you can get all the goodness or all the cannabinoids you want to get from the plant without taking in that stall that yuck.
Okay.
And it's just a lot healthier for you. And especially with the medical cannabis patients, they tend to be a little bit older, and their lungs aren't as good as as they used to be, and combustion really, really affects them, and that's really what we see the most. And then jumping back to your first question, we like the products where if you buy a vaporizer, there's going to be coils that you will have to replace, maybe once a month or once every 5 months. There are replaceable parts, so you do get some of that repeat business. It's not as much as like the e-cig, e-liquid type products, but in the cannabis with the like vaporizers, there are some replacement parts and you're always going to have like different attachments too that people are in need of. There's a lot of accessories. It's a very accessorized industry for sure.
Mm-hmm. And like, in terms of competition, I'm sure there's other e-commerce businesses, other businesses even locally that are selling, because I mean, I'm assuming this is not a business that's probably difficult to get into, right? That's not like a huge barrier to entry. Why would a customer come to your store versus like a competitor? Is it really that you have some customized designs that they like, or is it more of a customer service, or they like the way you do business? So can you share a little bit about the competitive landscape and how do you maintain your presence in the wider community of all the businesses that are doing
Sure.
this kind of business?
Yeah, there's smoke shops everywhere. What really I guess what we really pride ourselves on is customer service, customer experience. Not only that, but having those unique products when people are looking for them, when they're hot, when they're trending. Having that staff that is well trained, that can legitimately answer questions and point people in the right direction, because that's everything. Making sure that when customers come to you, you can, if you don't have the answer, get it for them, and just treating customers like family. That's the whole customer journey with us is very, very important. The in-store experience is very, very important, and bringing that professional it's just environment, in an environment where people of all ages, of all walks of life can feel welcome is really, really important. And I think we also have a drive-through. So
Okay.
you can order online and pick up in the drive-through.
Wow.
And that was something we did during COVID and, the COVID lockdowns, and that just hit. So
Yeah, that's I guess that's very convenient. Like you don't even have to get out of your car.
well, you think you have families, that they don't want to bring their kids in the store, or, they're, somebody's in a hurry, rushing home from work, or, or somebody's not feeling well. They don't want to go in the store. It's been really successful. So I'm glad that we did that.
Awesome. Now I know you mentioned a little bit around online marketing and bringing customer into your business. Can you share a little bit about what kind of marketing you do specifically for your retail business versus e-commerce? What's working? What has worked well for you in terms of customer acquisition and also keeping
Sure.
those customers?
Yeah. Word of mouth, number one, especially for the retail location. Word of mouth is just, it's so important. Making sure, even if you get a bad review, because you can't make, some people are going to get mad, even though my employees did the right thing. And, you can't win everybody, but, making sure that you respond to those reviews and making sure that, that customer feels heard, whether they want to talk or not. I always try to reach out to the customers and see if I can, step in there to, if they felt wronged or something like that, which is very, very, very rare. But, as anybody that owns a business knows, it happens. I think one of the best marketing channels that we have is organic. Organic SEO and social media. And again, we can't use the advertising, but organic social media posting is really one of the biggest things. Between that and SEO, that's really, we do some Klaviyo stuff as well, and I really like Klaviyo's platform. They've been really, really great to work with. I love Klaviyo. So, we do a lot with Klaviyo too.
So you're very limited in terms of advertising, like online advertising. You can't really do it because a lot of the platforms don't allow it, right?
Yeah, there's some ways to do some advertising. I think it's kind of gray area. So I don't want to make any of these platforms upset. I mean, this is just a waiting game. It's going to be, but I'm willing to do it with just SEO and the social media. That's really got us to this point. We've done some local stuff too. Some local advertising as well. When there's something that really fits, what we're doing, I'll do that as well.
Okay. And I do see that you're on your website, in terms of payment processing, because I think that's another area where businesses, in this industry, get cornered, I guess. You're using authorized.net, so so you were able to find like a more traditional or mainstream payment processor. So you haven't experienced any issues there?
No, we have a great relationship with our merchant processor, and I get offers all the time. And sometimes it's even better, and I will not leave them because we have they've really worked with me in such crucial times. But it's taken me a long time, to get to that point, and get the rates that we have. I've really had to pay my dues with that. But yeah, they've been great. I don't know if I can give them a shout out or not, but
okay. Now you did mention that you have a drive-through and you started that during COVID time. Can you share a little bit? What was that like? Did you see a significant increase in business during COVID because everybody was at home and they didn't really have much to do than so they were using more of these kind of items? Or
well, it was very interesting. The state's attorney kept calling us and telling us they were shutting all the businesses down, but not the drive-throughs, and we had the drive-through. We were at the same time. We just purchased the building that we purchased our building, and we were renovating the entire building. So there was construction workers coming in, and the state's attorney kind of was sending me letters, and he's like, you guys need to close your doors, and I'm like, they're closed. So, but I don't think that we were just able to stay afloat. The business wasn't better, but
okay.
I was very, very thankful that we were able to have business, because scary time, and a lot of businesses were not as lucky. And, I feel for them. It's very, very sad times for small business.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, you were able to pivot it, and because if you hadn't thought about the drive-through idea, that you had to close down your business, right? So,
Yeah.
In terms of your fulfillment and shipping, I know you have several offers on your website. All orders over 25 with free shipping, 30-day return policy. You're using Route, which is also, I think, on the returns insurance kind of a thing. Can you share a little bit about, are you doing all the fulfillment in-house? Do you work with a third-party logistics? How do you manage the shipping costs and so forth?
Sure. Well, we're currently using ShipStation integrated with Magento. So when an order comes in, we will get a Slack notification, and then through Slack, that order will get picked, taken to shipping, and then from there it gets shipped out via ShipStation. I'm really big on package presentation. I think that's one of the biggest overlooked things in retail and e-commerce. So, as you would know, if you get a package that is just immaculately packed, you're like, man, those people care, and we do. Yeah. And, so I really push that with my employees, and they do great.
But everything is managed in-house, right?
It is managed in-house, correct. Now we do some drop shipping, and those type of items are shipped from the vendor or the manufacturer.
Okay. And in this industry, like, do you see a lot of returns, or is this like a low return kind of a thing?
We don't see a lot of returns, but it does happen from time to time. And if it is it's kind of hard, because if it's a used product, it gets kind of tricky sometimes. But if it's a manufacturer defect, that's 100% always going to be taken care of. And we try to take care of everybody. As you can see on the return policy on our website, we try to work with everybody as best we can. Don't want to ever do anybody wrong, or we just want people to be happy with their purchases mainly. That's important. So we'll do anything within reason to make sure that happens.
Cool. Do you sell in Canada, or is it you're purely in the US? Because Canada, everything is cannabis is legal, right? So.
Right. Yep. We're currently just in the US, but I would like to start expanding in the near future, Canada and even South America. Honestly, I think that the markets down there have been getting a lot larger for especially just glass items and things like that. So I think that that's an opportunity there as well.
Okay. I know you mentioned a little bit about your team, and you have like a really great group of people. Can you share a little bit about, what your team looks like right now? What kind of things you manage versus your team?
Sure, sure. Over the past couple of years, we've actually shrunk down a little bit. We're trying to be more efficient, so our team currently, I want to say we have 8 or 9. I think 8 employees. Is that right? No, I'm sorry, 9. With 9 employees, we were down from 15 before. But we have an admin team, which consists of 3 people, which will also one of those people do the bookkeeping. We actually have an accountant as well, who handles the complicated stuff. We have our purchasing department. We have our sales team upstairs, and then our glass production team.
Wow, so 8 or 9 people are doing so many different things. Production, so okay. Wow.
Yeah. It's a lot, and especially I also have I don't want to leave my developer out. I have a back end server developer, and then I have a full-time full stack developer as well. So I don't want to leave those guys out. Those are my guys.
Is that a local developer, or is that like a remote outside of US or something?
No, well, my server guy is Sri Lanka.
Okay.
And then and I've been with him. We've been working together for 7 years. So
okay,
he's a great guy.
Okay.
And then our full stack developer was in Chicago. We're in Springfield, Illinois, and he was in Chicago. And I think he just moved down to Kentucky, but still on board.
Okay. So, I mean, you've had your business, I believe you said since 2013, which is almost like 10 years now. And you started it with, with an idea, and now you're, reasonably developed business. Had you ever thought that, your business will run for this long, and, all the experiences that you've had so far, looking back, what do you think about, that you've spent growing this business in this industry? Are you proud? Are you, do you ever think that do you always think this was a good idea, or, you thought maybe you should have done something else?
Yes, there's many things that I should have done differently. It's constantly a learning experience. I'm constantly learning. I don't claim to know. I don't have instructors or people I can bounce, ideas off of. Not thinking of the term, but what is they're mentors. Really don't have any mentors or anything like that. So if you know anybody, I'm definitely in the market. But there are some things that I would have done differently. I think that sometimes we just need to simplify and just focus on what we're good at. That's one of the big things I've learned. Sometimes you try to expand and take on too much, and you drive yourself insane. And then, you're spread thin, and that takes away from the things that really are going to go well for you. So that was definitely a lesson that I have learned. Trying to think of, there's been a few.
But are you proud? Like, if you look at your entire journey for the last 10 years, like, had you ever thought that you would be running this business 10 years down the road, like when you started, or was it like
I did not.
One day at a time?
It is one day at a time. I never thought, we would get this far, and we still have a long ways to go. There's still so many ideas and things we want to do. I don't come from the technology background, so having to learn a lot of this it takes a lot of time, and it kind of slows me down. And I think sometimes in the e-commerce world, that's a disadvantage. Is that I wish I would have went to school for coding. I really do. But it's never too late to learn, and that's kind of what I've been doing in my spare time, which I don't have much spare time, but I do read a lot.
That's an interesting point. Like, working in the business versus working on the business, because, that's kind of like the dilemma, right? An entrepreneur ends up spending 95% of their time working in the business rather than working on the business. What are your thoughts on that? Do you carve out time where you're thinking more around the strategy, how to grow the business in the long term or medium term, versus some of the things that you mentioned, like learning coding and things like that, because that kind of gets you involved working in the business rather than thinking more long term?
Well, I think some of the biggest frustrations that I have is I want to fix something in our system and I don't know how to do that, and that's
Okay.
very, very, very frustrating for me. So that's something that I've been learning.
Okay.
It's yeah.
But there's like, I mean, I would to answer that question, I would say, I'm sure if you go on like a site like Upwork or something, you can find so many Magento developers who can probably solve your problem at a low cost. So is it even worth trying to learn a skill that you're probably not going to be an expert at, rather than outsourcing it?
Sure. And that's mainly, I mean, that I have used Upwork before. It's hit or miss sometimes though. So you have to give somebody that you don't know access to some, some server access that, I've had worked with great freelance coders, and I've worked with some that have not been so great. And, it's really, really, it's hard finding the right ones, but when you find the right one, you're right. It makes it much better.
Okay. Well, now I'm going to move on to our rapid fire segment. And in this segment, I'm going to ask you a few quick questions and you have to answer them maybe in a word or a sentence or so. So the first one I'll ask you, I know you mentioned you read books, a book recommendation for entrepreneurs, and why?
The Magento Manual, Adobe. No. I started reading, and I'm not finished with it yet. The One Thing by Gary Keller. It's really, really interesting. And I have ADHD, so it kind of really hits with me. But, pretty much the gist of it so far is cutting out the noise, focus on the one thing that you are good at, to achieve the greatest results. And it's a really, really good book, and I need to get back to finishing it. But I do recommend it. It's a phenomenal book. So.
Okay. An innovative product or idea in the current e-commerce, retail, or tech landscape that you feel excited about?
Yeah, two things. Headless CSS, I think, is going to be huge, or SDK. And I think AI, like ChatGPT, Copy.ai, just AI, artificial intelligence that will help us speed up product listings and content. There's a lot of potential for that with automations for our business processes. So.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's the future of e-commerce. It's going to be like, if let's say AI takes over Google, like you don't even have to go to Google. Let's say, you have Alexa or your, voice device, and you say, I want to buy, a vaporizer of a certain kind. Get me this vaporizer. You don't even have to say, basically you say, get me the best vaporizer that has this features within this price range. And that's all you have to do. And AI does the rest. It basically, orders it, ships it for you, and you just receive it. So, I mean, the future, I think, looks very different. Like you don't even have to do all this search engine optimization and things like this.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's an exciting time for sure. And Bing is incorporating ChatGPT now. Supposedly, there was a leak on that, but I was reading about it last night. So it's an exciting time.
Yeah, they're doing some things like I think they're including Microsoft is integrating ChatGPT into their Teams. So Teams product. So it's they're doing a lot of things, and I'm sure they're going to integrate it into the search product also. A business or productivity tool or software that you would recommend, or a productivity tip?
Sure. It'd have to be Notion. I actually use Trello. I've been using more Trello lately. That's a good one too. But I think Notion does whatever you want it to do. It's the best.
Okay.
I've used Asana. I've used quite a few of them. Mem's pretty good too. A little bit different, but yeah, there's all of them are really, really great, and I highly recommend. If somebody doesn't have to task management, find the one that works best for them, and you have to use it. Way too much.
Yeah, definitely. A startup or business in e-commerce, retail, or tech that you think is currently doing great things?
So Notion. So we've talked about a few of them. I think Notion is great. OpenAI is, what they're doing right now. There was another one too I've ran across. I think it's called Adaptation, which is very, very interesting. It's AI that will, it's in your browser, I believe, and it'll if you have tasks that you need to do on other websites, and it will log into those websites and do all that automation for you. It's pretty wild.
It's I'm looking forward to that time, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know. Then, are we just going to go to the beach and just chill, or what are we going to do?
I don't know. I enjoy it. So, I mean, I'll probably still I'll find some way to, maybe I can be, just take the photographer, taking pictures of the products, and, we'll find something to do.
Cool. A peer entrepreneur or business person whom you look up to, or someone who inspires you?
Oh, I'd have to say, Sam Walton built a great empire. So I have a lot of respect for how, his business and his thinking, and also Steve Jobs too. Can't leave Steve out. So that the creativity, I mean, just great minds.
And final question: best business advice you ever received, or you would give to other entrepreneurs?
Oh man. I feel like everybody says this, but don't be afraid to fail. That's definitely up there with, you just can't be held back by, because you're gonna fail. Everybody's gonna fail, and that's how you learn. That's that. I would say that, and don't hire your friends.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, what about family?
I mean, if you don't want to talk to that family member, if you have to fire them, it gets really, really tricky. When you do, if that has to happen, sometimes sometimes it just doesn't work out, and you love the person, and it kills you on the inside, but it's what's best for the business. And at the end of the day, I mean, we're here for business, and it gets tough. So that was one I learned pretty early. So
it's probably it probably impacts the friendship also, right? It kind of puts
every friend that I've hired, was pretty good friend. I do not talk to them anymore. They don't talk to me anymore anyway. So I try to be a really, really nice boss.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, when money gets in friendship, I think it definitely affects it. Yeah,
it muddies it quite a bit. So that's definitely that, and I guess don't take on too much. Kind of like the one thing, just really, really focus at what you're good at, and it's always going to be better that way.
Okay, awesome. Well, Matthieu, really, really appreciated your time today. Thank you so much for joining me today. If anyone watching this podcast wants to go check out your website or buy your products, what is the best way they can do that?
Sure. It's upperlimitsinc.com. And or they can reach out to me. If it's somebody that's in the area, I mean, stop on by. If you're ever coming across Springfield, Illinois, stop on by and I'll give you a tour.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Matthieu. Really, really appreciate your time today and sharing your business story. So yeah, thank you again for joining me today at Trep Talks.
It was a pleasure. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.